Okay, so welcome to another deep dive. And today we're going to be looking at just a single piece of communication
Interesting.
that I found
Right.
that landed in my inbox, actually.
Right.
And it's a bit of a head scratcher, I have to admit. It's a
Yeah.
little cryptic, it's playful, and it just kind of left me wondering, like, what is going on here?
Yeah. I mean, it's fascinating how a seemingly simple message or, a small piece of communication can have these layers, right? Like this microcosm of human communication.
Yeah, absolutely. And so the message reads like this, and I'm going to read it verbatim.
Okay.
Okay. I am smoking outside and bring some for you to build its little brother, or an ancient stepsister woo.
Okay.
So on the surface, I mean, it seems pretty random, right?
It does.
Just kind of like a stream of consciousness almost.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I feel like there's something more here.
For sure.
I feel like there's something we need to unpack.
Yeah. Well, right away, the tone, that casual tone, that playful language kind of jumps out at me, right? It suggests there's some familiarity between whoever sent this and whoever they sent it to.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely feels like there's this,
Like an inside joke almost.
yeah, inside joke.
Right?
Definitely a shared context
A shared context.
you're not privy to.
Exactly. And then, and then on top of that, you have these concrete actions, right?
Yeah,
Like smoking outside.
right.
And then
A very specific,
it's juxtaposed against these abstract, like, what are they even talking about, right?
Yeah.
Building a little brother?
yeah, what does that even mean?
Or an ancient stepsister? Like, what? It's like a puzzle.
Yes.
That's like two different puzzles.
Yeah.
Mixed together.
Yeah, we've got these everyday mundane things like
Yeah.
smoking and then these like really out there fantastical concepts.
Right.
So let's maybe start with this smoking outside.
Okay.
What do you think that signifies here? I mean, could it be more than just a literal act?
Oh, absolutely. And I think if we look at it through kind of like a semiotic lens, right, then smoking outside could represent a whole bunch of different concepts.
Right.
It could be a creative process. It could be a moment of pause and reflection.
Yeah.
Or it could even be like a ritual,
Yeah.
something that these two people do together. So,
Like a shared experience.
right,
Yeah.
exactly.
Okay. So let's say that smoking outside is kind of like the foundation here.
Yeah.
What does it mean then to build its little brother?
That's the thing, right? So we have this foundation of whatever smoking outside is, and then you're going to build on it.
Okay.
Right. And I think this little brother, it could be a project.
Okay.
It could be an idea. It could even be like they had a conversation and this is a continuation of it.
Yeah.
Right. It's like, let's keep going with this.
Yeah, so an extension or like a further development of whatever
Yes.
this initial thing was.
Yeah.
And then, okay, how does the ancient stepsister woo?
Right.
Like, where does that fit in?
Like curveball. Right. It's like a whole other,
Like, we were figuring this out, and then all of a sudden,
a whole other dimension here.
ancient stepsister, woo!
It's like, what?
And I think here is where context is super, super important,
Yeah.
right? Because this ancient stepsister, it could be a symbol for something that's like really complex or really old, like something they've been dealing with for a while.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe it's a past project.
Okay.
Maybe it's just an idea that's really hard to wrap your mind around.
Yeah.
Or maybe
Big dared memory.
or maybe it's a joke, right? Like they both know what this ancient stepsister is.
Yeah.
And then that woo that just adds another layer to it.
Right.
It's like a wink. Like, you know what I'm talking
Yeah. Yeah. Like, come on, you get me.
Right.
But we don't get it.
We're on the outside, yeah.
We are very much on the outside here. And I just find it fascinating that you can pack this much implied meaning into such a short message.
Yeah, it really speaks to the power of implied meaning, right?
Yeah.
And shared context.
In communication, like we rely so much on stuff that isn't said,
Yeah.
right? We're little cues and hints and stuff. And that's how we get these complex ideas across.
So, I mean, what do you think we can take away from this cryptic message? Like,
Yeah.
what does this deep dive tell us about the way we communicate in general?
I think it shows us that meaning is something that we create together, right?
Yeah.
The sender and receiver. It's not just about the words. It's about all the history and all the baggage and everything that goes into,
Shared experience.
right, the shared context that shapes how we understand it. And so what's nonsense to you and me
Yeah.
might be super profound to these two people.
Exactly, yeah. It makes you think about all the little mysteries that we encounter every day, right?
Yeah.
Just like cryptic little texts or random comments that people make.
Yeah.
And it's like there's always something else going on there.
There's something underneath.
underneath that we may never fully grasp.
Right. And that might be the most interesting part of communication, is that it's always this like interpretation and negotiation
Right.
and discovery, right? Like even the simplest things can send you on this whole journey of trying to figure out what's going on.
Yeah, well, with that in mind, maybe we should all go check our inboxes and see what kind of hidden meanings are lurking there, just waiting to be uncovered.
Right.
So thank you for joining us for this deep dive, and we'll see you next time.